Reconnecting. You are live. 3, 2, 1. And it's carried on for once. Okay, folks, here we go. And the orientation is the right way round. I tried this. I did 3 test streams earlier and couldn't make any work. And when I did get something to work, it ended after 3 seconds, just like it did at the beginning there. But this time, we're up, we're running. There are no overlays saying anything's wrong. I hope we're all okay. And now I'm saying we're the right way up again, not sideways. Sideways again. Sideways again. And again, sideways, reconnecting. Sideways again. No. Now it's showing me I'm the wrong way around. Now I'm there. But it's probably going to end in 3, 2, 1. Oh, it's kept going. Okay, folks, this is interesting, isn't it? YouTube keeps cutting me off after 3 seconds and putting me sideways. It's a right old mess. Jack Attack, hello, my friend. I can only tell it's you because of the spanner, because of the moderator wrench. Okay, folks. We might actually be able to get going. YouTube, you've really got to fix this shit. You've really got to look at what's happening here. I don't believe it's me or my phone. I tried 3 experimental streams earlier, private ones, and they worked. They worked, but they were wrong. Some overlays, some sideways, just terrible. But no, not good, not good. This is the first time it's actually got anywhere near working, and you saw how many times it hung up. I came on, no overlay, it was the right way round, and it kicked me out and kicked me out and kicked me out after 3 seconds each time, or less. But yeah, not good. Okay, folks. I think they're going to hear that. Okay, folks, this is TrampCast, episode 46, Sunday, September the 22nd. This is Delta Mike. The channel is Down and Out in Torrevieja. Delta Mike, that's me. Down and Out, a tramp, a hobo, a vagrant, an indigent person, a person of no fixed abode. Some would say a bum. What else we got? Someone who sleeps rough, someone who's on the streets, someone who sleeps in a field, in my case. Okay, folks. TrampCast. That's where we look at a week in the life of me, a tramp, a homeless guy, a vagrant, a hobo. The successes, the failures, and the other happenings in a week in my life. Because I am the main character in my life. Much as some would like me not to be. The sponsor of this week's beverages is my friend Anthony, who's sat here with me right now. I think he's going to go soon. Cheers, Anthony, and cheers to you guys. Cheers to the subscribers. That's the word I was looking for. The presence of alcohol probably means that we've just lost another couple of subscribers. That's all right. I seem to lose a couple each week now. But such is life. Okay, folks. As I say, this is TrampCast, episode 46. And because it's episode 46, we're going to do some facts about the number 46. Hold on, someone's saying something and I can't see what. I'm going to try and turn the brightness up a little. I think I've got a little bit to play with because I haven't got the overlay.
Yeah, I was coming and going.
There we go. Department. Oh, Stitch. Hello, my friend. How are you doing? All good here. Okay, folks. Episode 46. Therefore, facts about the number 46. You know how this works. It's just a little bit of a time killer while we wait for other people to arrive. If we don't scare them away with that first 3 minutes where everything was all over the place. Okay, folks. The number 46 is a semi-prime. It is the 16th semi-prime and is made from multiplying 2 by 23. You multiply two prime numbers to get a semi-prime. The number 46 is also the number of books in the Catholic version of the Old Testament. It's the number of years that it took to build the temple at Jerusalem. Okay, there are 46 chromosomes in a typical, not all, but in a typical human cell. 23 pairs of chromosomes in a cell. Again, it's that 2 times 23 semi-prime thing from before. The 46th state to join the Union, the United States. The 46th state was Oklahoma. And we'll stay stateside just for one more. The 46th President of the United States, Joe Biden, the current one. Or is he the past one? Let's not do politics. Is he still the president? Technically, yeah, I guess, maybe, just about. Okay, folks, we always have one, almost always have one. The International Direct Dialing Code 46 will get you through to Sweden. Now you know. And forgive my pronunciation here, my American friends. The Adirondack Mountains, I think that's how you would say it, in New York State, is it's a chain of hills, mounts, points, peaks, 46 of which are technically or traditionally classed as mountains. So there are 46 peaks within the Adirondack Mountains. Okay, our final point, with a lot of sub-points as usual. We draw from the periodic table. Atomic number 46 on the periodic table is palladium with the symbol PD. Just give us a second. I just note, I've lost my wind suppressor, which is supposed to go here. Sorry guys, you might have been getting blowback from there's a bit of a breeze at the minute. That's why I haven't got the sombrero, that's not the right word. Parasol, sombria. That's why I haven't got the sombria up. Okay, number 46, atomic number 46 on the periodic table. Palladium with the symbol PD. Named after an asteroid which had just been discovered the month before this element was discovered. So the guy who discovered it named it in honor of that. No bigger connection than that. It's part of the platinum group of metallic elements, but it's the least dense and lowest melting point of the bunch. Now they do typically have quite high melting points, but it's the lowest of that bunch. Quite strong catalytic properties. Used a lot as a catalyst in other reactions. It's resistant to wear and tear, and resistant to chemical reaction. So again, like the other metals in this group, is often used as a thin coating over other metals, over other jewellery. Okay, I've lost myself. Where am I? Resistant to other jewellery. Okay, as I said, 50%. It's because of its catalytic properties. It's used in reactions to help other reactions happen without actually being directly involved in those reactions. Because of this, 50% of it is used in catalytic converters for cars. In the 90s, it's the amount mined, the demand went up from, I think it was 100,000 tons, or it went up threefold anyway during the 90s. Just something I remember from reading earlier. I didn't write it down. That would be too organised. Okay. In catalytic converters, it's used to convert 90% of harmful gases into harmless emissions, harmless exhaust elements. It's also used in fuel cells, hydrogen fuel cells, to react hydrogen with oxygen to form electricity and heat. without actually burning. You're not burning the elements. They're just causing a chemical reaction to generate the electricity. The largest deposits are in South Africa, Montana in the US. Whoa! The wind's blowing stuff over here, guys. Sudden gust of wind. Where am I? South Africa, Montana in the US, Canada and Russia are the main sources, the largest deposits. Now, other than catalytic converters and jewellery, other uses include medicine, dentistry and groundwater treatment. Okay, folks, those were your facts about the number 46, because this is episode 46 of TrampCast. Okay, I need to just do this. Look, we've just forgot a vital element of the show. Over there, Tina. Hey, say hello to the peoples. There's my Tina girl. Tina girl. Okay, and back with me, the real star of the show. I'm not really. She's the star and she knows it. So we can get that back on that. Okay, folks, that was the numbers. So next, after the numbers, we have the thank yous. So the thank yous for episode 46 of TrampCast. There are 3. My friend Sven, who sent me a PayPal donation the other day. He seems to be sending me a fairly regular payment. I haven't checked on the actual time scale. That would be rude. But he's sending me that ain't cheap amount. You'll have to look back to know what value that is. I'm not detailing that. But those that know. Thank you, Sven. Thank you, my friend. Maybe see you sometime soon again, eh? Okay, and yesterday, my friend Adela arrived at the camp, bringing Russian salad. She just made, I think she'd made a batch at home, and she did extra for me and brought me this lovely big Tupperware of Russian salad, which I presume everyone knows. It's like a potato salad. It's got mayonnaise base with I think there's a bit of potato, but then you've got carrots and all sorts of other bits of veg. I don't know I eat it. I don't know the specifics. Thank you, Adela. She brought me that and some bread. That was brilliant. Thank you very, very much. And finally, just now, right now, still here now, my friend Anthony dropped by. And he brought me a lovely big deep pan pizza, which I'm only halfway through. I had to cut off and stop. You guys don't want to be watching me eating away at a pizza with no teeth in my mouth. But he is also the sponsor of the beer for this week's episode. So cheers to him. Thank you very much, sir. And cheers to you guys. There goes another 2 subscribers. Cheers, Jack Attack. No, it's true. It is true, folks. Every time I do cheers, we lose a couple of subscribers. It's that thing. I think that they don't understand how cheap a beer is out here. So they think that why is the homeless guy squandering loads of money on beer? This stuff, this is a proper brand. This is Amstel. I don't buy proper brands myself. I go for the supermarket's cheap stuff. 30 cents a can I pay. This is probably about 50 cents a can, más o menos, more or less. 50 to 60, I don't know the specifics of the different brands. But so 12 pack of that is 6, maybe 7 euros. I don't know. Yeah, there's a ballpark. I buy a 12 pack that's 360 when I buy, which isn't often. It's only when someone sends me money and says this is for beer or alcohol in general. So folks, those were the thank yous for this week, and thank you to all of you. Thank you to those 3 guys and gals, and thank you to you guys for being here. There is in the description a link to a PayPal account if anybody does want to help me out a little bit. I am down to oh, okay, I just forgot one. Anthony here just gave me a bag of cash while he was here, loose change. Tells me there's 20 some euros, so I'm not as skint as I thought I was. I just remembered I was about to get on the grift and tell you all how I'd just run out of money. I went to the supermarket on Friday night. We had a storm coming Saturday morning. We'll get to it. But we had a storm coming, and I thought I needed to just get a few bits in, you know, in readiness, preparedness. So I spent the last of my cash. So I was about to get on the grift and tell you all about my PayPal account because I haven't got any money, and then I just remembered that now I do. So thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Doesn't mean that you can't give, though, guys, if you do still want to. I'm getting better at this grift. Come on, admit it. Okay, folks. Those were the thank yous for the week again. So now we come to the themes of the week. Now this has just changed. I mean, what I've got written here, I've got the words alone and depressed question mark written down. A couple of weeks ago, I think I said that everyone I knew was leaving Spain. I had nobody here. I had no friends here anymore. They all left at once. Ismo left on Monday, just gone. Hello Ismo, if you're out there. I know you're not there just now. You'll be on the replay, hopefully. But yeah, I was starting to feel a little, you know, alone and lost and lonely. And my friend Anthony here arrived in the country about 2 hours before he just arrived here. So that changes things a little bit. Depressed question mark. There's a... depression, I hesitate to use that word because that has medical implications, brain chemistry, they allege, although that's been disputed just recently. Latest science, guys. I've got to follow science journals and things. They're in doubt. People trumpet this. They trot out this thing about brain chemistry being changed in depression. And when they looked back through the literature, there's actually very, very little evidence to support that hypothesis. But so I always hesitate to use the word. My mum suffered depression. Then again, she was a schizophrenic. So was it depression or was it something else? But I have my ups and downs. But I think that's normal if you're in this situation. I'm living in a field. I've been living in a field now for 2 years and a bit. In a few days, I'll have been living in this field for 2 years. October the 10th. Where are we now? September 22nd, yeah, so 10, 19, about 21 days from now. So yeah, we're within a month of it being 2 years in this field, not just living in fields. That makes you think. Makes me think. But yeah, so I have my ups and downs. I don't know whether depression would be the right word. I suspect not. I think it's just highs and lows, ups and downs. So, but that's been a theme of the week anyway, or you know, like I just said, I'm feeling a little bit better now. I do have other people arriving in the country in the next month or so, or next few weeks. So I'll be feeling better about all that anyway. Other themes for the week, guys and gals. The weather. We've had a few bits of rain. We've had thunderstorms. My tent's broken. The door on the tent is now properly really broken. After I tried a fix, and I fixed the zip on the door to the wrong runner, to the wrong track, the wrong zip entirely. So I've got this door with its zipper hanging, you know, not connected to anything, connected to the door but not connected to the tent, and I've gone and connected it to the runner, to the line from the mosquito net rather than for the actual outer door. So I had it pinned like that up for one day. I took it off, I pried it off the next day, and now I've distorted the metal, and I think I've even lost a little bit of metal from the corner, and it's probably not going to fit back on properly ever again. So that's fun. And that was fun the night before a thunderstorm. So yeah, that's a theme for the week. And in general, the deterioration of the tent. I got a few rips in it now. Trying to fix this zip the other night, and I put the pliers right through the roof of the tent. fucking manipulating things and whoa, little slip. So now I've got duct tape on the outside and inside of this 6-inch, 15 centimeter rip. Ah, it's getting fragile, folks. It's getting fragile. I'm going to put a tarpaulin over it one day soon. I think I've got a 7 meter by 3 meter or 7 meter by 4 meter tarp. But it's, well, I don't know where it is. I know. I don't know where it is. I don't know where my cordage, my strings and ropes and things are, because it's part of what went when the police did their thing. When they stole all my belongings. I do have bits. I do have some cordage in here. I do have some string and some rope, but not as much as I did have once upon a time. But it'll be a bit of a task to put up, and it'll be bright. It'll be like fuck off bright blue. And my tent is like now. When it went up, it was fuck off bright blue, and the police arrived within an hour and a half. If you watch that video, and then they came back 2 days later because it was still fuck off bright blue. Now it's all faded, and they leave me alone. If I put a tarp over there that's fuck off royal blue or fuck off navy blue, like shiny, brand new and blue, the cops are going to be on me maybe within hours, but certainly within days. So that's something to look forward to, isn't it? That causes me to hesitate about putting it on. Tina girl was just visiting it. So yeah, that's just the deterioration of the tent. We're coming into winter. The weather is that bit more unpredictable. All of the storms happen in September, October, and then March, April, maybe May. But winter itself's generally not that bad. It's the autumn and the spring when you get the worst of it usually. Because that's when you've got the warmer weather and it can drop, and it's just sudden drops. They used to call them gota frias here, which is literally Spanish for cold drop. In English we might say cold snap. That's when you get the real bad dampen it and the dust will stick to it. Yeah, I've had that idea. Also, I might peg it out on the ground for a little bit first. Let the sun get to it for a week or so first, to fade it a little bit. I was thinking of doing that a couple of months ago, but I had people in these apartments over here that overlook me. I think these are the ones that call the police on me whenever anything changes here. So I didn't want to peg out a 7 meter by 4 meter tarp on the ground and have them calling the police, because clearly there was a second tent arriving. So many police visits, it has a chilling effect on your behaviour. There are things that you should do and that you don't get on with because you don't want the grief. Anyway, folks, unless I'm mistaken, oh, okay, I'll add to that my disorganisation, I guess, which is another theme of the week. As I said, I've got this big tarp. I don't know where it is. This door, when it wouldn't fix the other day and the storm was coming, I had in mind I was going to use safety pins and pin the door closed overnight. I know I've got safety pins. I know I've got 2 packs of them, different sizes. Can't find them. They're in there somewhere. It's only 7 meters by 3 meters, but it's like a fucking TARDIS sometimes. I can't find shit. I told you about the time I lost a jacket potato in bed. We'll not do that story again, but it fell off a chopping board while I was getting onto the bed, and it disappeared for an hour. How does that happen? That's not normal. Okay, folks, those are the themes for the week. We are 27 minutes in almost. If you're sitting comfortably, then I'll begin. We begin, as we usually do, with last Sunday after the TrampCast, which I really enjoyed, despite technical difficulties. If you remember, at the end of that one, there was noise down the road, someone had dragged a trolley down, and I thought they were dumping rubble. I thought it was maybe a builder getting rid of builder's rubble. I was quite wrong. It was almost the opposite. It was a little old lady, and she dragged the trolley down empty, and she was picking rubble up to take away. But I took Tina for a walk immediately after the TrampCast, and the lady was still here, and we got talking, and she was talking to me, and we were talking about Tina, and then Tina's legs were buckling, and the lady started to give me a bit of a hard time, telling me I should take her to the vets, and I said, yeah, I agree, I should. But vets cost money, vets charge money, and I don't have money. And then she started having a little bit of a pop at me that I'm living in a tent, I should have lots of money. And her assumption was based on the idea that if I've got a steady income and minimal outgoings because I'm living in a tent, then my money should be piling up. Does anybody see the flaw in her assumptions there? The assumption that I've got some kind of steady income. The assumption that I've got any kind of bloody income. Yeah, no, I don't. Nothing from the Spanish government, nothing from any charities, nothing from social services, nothing from the local government, the government, nothing from British government. I'm a guy stuck in a field, which is why I mentioned the PayPal account earlier. Grifting away. Hint, hint. But yeah, I mean, come on. I don't like to do the outright beg, but no, this lady was just giving me grief. I should have money piling up because I haven't got any outgoings. If only life was that simple. Nice lady, you know, she was nice, she was chatty, she was okay with Tina. It was just towards the end of the conversation she got a little bit frosty with me. But I kind of agree with her. I should take Tina to a vet. If anybody knows a vet that'll look at her for free, let me know. They don't have a PDSA here. There's no People's Dispensary for Sick Animals. I tried contacting a local alberg, dog pound, kind of dog sanctuary, asking if they know of any vets that will help. So far, no reply. I'm not even sure the message has gone through, to be honest. Sometimes you have to be following someone on Facebook before you get messages through, and I don't really do Facebook. I've got Messenger, but I've only got it for Messenger. I don't use Facebook anymore. So this is Sunday. I took Tina for a walk. We came back to the camp, and obviously I had to deconstruct my little platform here where I do this from, tidy things away, and then we just got back inside the tent because flies at that kind of time of night. They weren't too bad, but I wasn't going to hang around and wait for them to get bad. Any day now, with the weather getting that little bit cooler, any day now the flies should start kind of dying off or disappearing, dying down. We shall see, folks, we shall see. Now, I'd been inside the tent about half an hour when this guy came down the field and shouted hello, and in Spanish, and Spanish family. He said something about being from Barcelona, having a boat, and could him and his family put a tent up in the field here for 2 or 3 days. Now, it's not my field. I can't give permission. I can't say no to somebody. But I did advise him that the police would be all over him within a day, and that they're not always the best behaved when they come. So with that kind of warning, with that, you know, I'm always a little bit wary when people turn up, because I don't know if you remember, there was a Bulgarian or Hungarian? Oh, I don't remember. I think maybe Hungarian. There was a family came here a while back, a family of 5 that ended up homeless and that wanted to move into the field. And they only had like a 3-man tent, and there was 5 of them. And they wanted to come and put up a tent in the field. And I told them that they were welcome to. I'd give them as much help as I could. I've got electricity of sorts. I've got a little bit of food, and whatever I've got I would share with them and help them. But I couldn't stop the police coming down on them, and they went away to. It was only the mum and the eldest son that came. They went off to find the rest of the family, and they never came back. So I'm hoping it's not just that I put them off. I'm hoping that they found somewhere better. I'm hoping they got a better offer elsewhere. But this family turned up and wanted to put up a tent here. I told them I couldn't say yes or no. It's not my field. You don't need my permission. You do what you do. But also, the police will do what they do, and then it's up to you from there. So that was interesting. It was also interesting that he tried to speak English and couldn't, and that I was able to understand enough of his Spanish and communicate well enough back to indicate what the score was. That's interesting. I mean, in truth, I only picked out odd words out of the sentence. Maybe 30-40% of the words in what he was saying, but it was enough. I'm really weak at putting sentences together, though, building sentences in Spanish. I tend to be more this way, and I'm better at reading than I am at hearing. I'm better at hearing than I am at speaking. I really struggle at the hearing. A lot of these guys have got really deep, gravelly voices, and then I've got no chance. The women I understand better, and guys with higher pitched voices. But if you get a guy, the old Spanish blokes, and they just go, rah, 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 I can't even tell what language they're speaking. I can't hear words. Some of them aren't even speaking Spanish, Castellano. Some of them are speaking Valenciana. And that I've got no fucking clue. Some of them sound like they're speaking French, but the words are Spanish. They're speaking Spanish, but with like a French accent. Different parts of Spain, different, yeah. No, I struggle with that. So the Spanish family arrived. So next, I don't know if you remember last week, I was cooking a stew, or my slow cooker was cooking a stew. I'd moved the panel over to catch the last hour or two of sun. So I sat down and ate my stew, and very nice it was too. Which one was it? Let me have a look. This was the veg and tomato sauce. Okay, yeah, that was a nice one. That was okay. Oh, and then I sat down, I put a YouTube video on, and it was the most bizarre. It was the most entertaining video I've seen in years. I've talked about a bloke called Asmongold, or Asmon. His real name's Zach, but he's one of these streamers. He's a really world-class gamer who streams for hours on end, but he's transitioned away from just streaming his gameplay. He watches other videos and talks over them, narrates around them, reaction videos they call it. And he showed this video of this bloke called Asian Dave versus Squatter. So this guy's sister rents out her apartment via Airbnb, separate rooms, so the house is in multiple occupation at any one time. And this woman moves in. She moves in for 28 days, and then she feigns some sort of credit card problem. She can't quite move out yet. Can she stay on a couple of extra days? And then under California law, she's got squatters' rights and they can't get rid of her. 30 days and you're in and nobody can get rid of you. And this woman's been doing this for 30 years, squatting in places. And the police department, every police officer in the police department knows her by name. They're all on first name. She knows each of them and they know her. The entire police department are on first name terms. So anyway, this woman's rented out the apartment and she can't get rid of this woman. So she moves her brother into the other room. And the brother just arrives and starts hammering on doors. He starts partying. He's got the marijuana going so strong this woman can't stand it. Then he puts the TV on full blast, but with a separate speaker playing the sounds. And it's coming through his streaming account, so people can super chat him. They send a message and pay like €3 or €4, send a message, and it gets read out loud. So this woman comes out and turns the TV off, and the speaker just carries on. It doesn't care. It carries on, and people are sending messages. Get out, you fucking witch! Get out, you! And she's accusing him of doing it, and he's not. And it just builds from there. For about a week, she's been there months, but for about a week, it just builds and builds and builds. And then he moves out, and she thinks, oh, relief. No. He got a real psycho to move in. Like, this guy was off his tits, lunatic, trying to get rid of her. And, oh, she came out of her room and started throwing bleach around the apartment, like all over. And then she calls the police on him. And he's got all this footage of her throwing bleach around. And they're like, yeah, it's misdemeanor assault, but no, not really. And it all just got... And it went up... This was in 4 episodes over... I think he showed it over 3 days in the end, because it was so entertaining. It's the most... Go and look up... Asian Dave versus Squatter, and maybe the Asmongold TV or Asmon Clips or some whatever his channel's called. I'll put a link maybe in the description after. It is now, guys. Here's the irony. Squatter, technically, I mean someone else's field, privately owned, no permission. Now, no one's complained. I've been here nearly 2 years, as I say. But the irony, but I'm watching this, and people have suggested to me, there's a lot of squatting goes on in Spain. Empty apartments get broken into, whole buildings get taken over. And people have said to me, why don't you go and get in a building? And I've always refused. That's a step too far. Like here, I'm in a corner of someone's field, doing no damage as far as I can tell. And, not hurting anybody. I've broken into nowhere. I haven't even crossed a fence. This place isn't fenced off. It's not signposted. Even the police can't make up their mind whether it's private or not. It is, but they can't confirm it. But the irony that I'm watching this thing about a squatter and I want her out. Asmund, he did calculations. He calculated that over 30 years, she has cost the local authority in excess, I think he came up with a figure of about 20 million. She was calling the police like 4 times a day at one point. 4 times a day, every day for a week. You do that, if you say that it's less often than that over the 30 years, but someone's going to be calling on her once a week or something. There's going to be something. She was that kind of nutter. She's walking around in stolen clothes with the tag, the magnetic, that's supposed to beep as you walk out of the shop. She's walking around in a full outfit with multiple of these tags still on. She's a thieving, robbing, and she damages everywhere she's ever been. Oh, there are like chat groups online of the former landlords who all want to get back at her. And they were all chipping in when this Asian Dave's doing his madness. Basically, he's probably going to get done for harassment in the end. I think he probably crossed the line in the end with some of the things he did. Legally, but I'm not sure whether the police will even want to pursue it. I don't know whether anybody wants to, because the police were sick of her. They wanted her out, but they knew the score. They knew it was a civil matter, and it wasn't a criminal matter on the whole, until she started assaulting people. She started spitting at I said this second guy came on, this lunatic. She was literally spitting at him walking down the street. So she eventually got arrested and lost her squatter's rights and everything. Funniest thing I've seen in years, folks. Okay, so this was Sunday night. I'm only on last Sunday still, guys. I was just told, God, you can talk. So the next thing I watched after this, I watched the TrampCast, last week's TrampCast back again, but I didn't do the timestamps. And I still haven't, I don't think I've revisited it and done the timestamps. I think I was annoyed by the technical issues that I always face, except for today. I had technical issues at the start, and I've had technical issues with my 3 test transmissions that I did before. But once it started working, it's working. No overlays, I'm not sideways on. I had somewhere I was the right way on the interface, on the phone, the user interface was sideways on. It's all been the most bizarre thing ever. And now, suddenly, working. So yeah, I was a bit annoyed with that last week. Good picture, that's good to know. How's the sound? Now that I've put the sponge on to stop the wind. So yeah, so I watched TrampCast back, and obviously that takes a couple of hours because I do, whoa, Tina girl. I do prattle on a bit. Tina, you're knocking things, darling. Come here. Now, for some reason, I was really sparks last Sunday. I was wide awake all night, more or less. And I had a fantastic night watching YouTube videos, other people's live streams. Whereabouts in Torrevieja, Cala de la Thora, where Thora is spelt like Zorro, but with an A at the end. Z-O-R-R-A. Cove of the, we'll go Vixen, female fox. Zorro is fox, Zora is a female fox, so Vixen. The word is also used to mean prostitute or whore. So I'm on Whore's Cove, if you like. Find the Repsol garage on Alfred Nobel, the coast road. Find the Repsol garage and the Grand Bazaar El Zocco, and I'm opposite. Stand with your back to those, look across the road, see the big blue tent, that's me. Where was I? Fantastic night watching other people's live streams, folks. Fantastic night. Oh, I see the high mic, but I can't see the... Oh, I'm sorry, and it fades, and I can't put the parasol up because of the wind. Live chat. I see high mic, I just can't see. Stephen Reed, okay, hello Stephen. And the one above is Stephanie C. Hello all of you. Different Gear TV. Hello. There's my mate Jack Attack. I'll read back now what I can see. Different Gear TV. Okay, fine. I can't go all the way back. I will watch it back later and get those, well, it'll be tomorrow when YouTube finishes processing them. Yeah, okay. Avoid the location. Avoid away. Cheers. I have my haters, folks. I have my haters. I am too close to the camera, aren't I? My head's so big it's not just filling the screen, it's off the screen. You bet. Okay, where was I? Fantastic night watching live streams. And a bunch of guys I watched called Comicsgate, the name of the group. These are comic artists. These guys used to work for Marvel and DC Comics, people like that. Now, I haven't read a comic book since I was about 10 years old. I tell a lie. I used to read my brother's X-Men comics in the 80s. So I might have been 15. But I haven't read a comic book since then. And these are the guys that used to write them and draw them. But they're a great bunch, a lot of camaraderie. And one of them had launched a new comic book that night. And he'd got his pre-sales kind of going. Pre-sales campaign launched. And he made $60,000 in the one night. And he'll probably make 300,000 or 400,000 before it's all done. But the camaraderie between this bunch, they're all coming in to help him with his launch and to make an entertaining program so people stick around and then buy the comic. And then they have a burger challenge. Who can eat the most burgers? One of them says, I'll eat one more than whatever you do. And the other one says, well, I'll do 4. So this guy's stuck trying to eat 5. And then another guy joins in, and by the end of the night, they're all sick. It was kind of ludicrous but hilarious, but fun to watch. Like I said, I was awake all night just watching this stuff. So that was Sunday night into Monday morning. And because I'd been up late, I fell asleep and didn't get up until late. So it was a late morning dog walk, 9:30 with Tina. And then the stew from the night before, I finished that off for breakfast. And I was going to cook another one. I was going to cook another stew straight after. I was basically going to cook the same thing again. But the weather forecast said that the afternoon was going to be mixed, cloudy and partly cloudy, partly sunny. And I didn't think that there would be enough sun to make the electricity to cook it fully before the end of the day. So I didn't bother, which was annoying. I'll tell you why in a minute. Now, I'd said last weekend that my stomach had been a little bit up. I'd had a bit of a bad stomach for a few days. But it started to settle down Monday. Now, things weren't rushing through as fast, put it that way. Things were stabilising. But the autumnal equinox yesterday, yeah. Equal night equinox. Yeah. I think that's not so much up here. It doesn't get equal here until that's at the equator. Because of the tilt of the Earth, it's a little bit off here, but I think that's right. But yeah, we had a glorious afternoon. It wasn't anywhere nearly as mixed the weather as the weather forecast had suggested. So I'd put off cooking a meal for no reason. Well, just because of the weather forecast. That's a bit annoying. So instead, I kind of didn't really eat until really late on. I couldn't make up my mind what to have. Yeah. I think in the end, I went with just chorizo sandwiches. And I was running out of mayo as well. So I didn't really have a spread to go with it, except for ketchup, and chorizo and ketchup's not a thing. Chorizo and mayo or chorizo and mustard would have worked, but I haven't got any of those left, or was running really, really low. You know when you're taking the lid off the squeezy bottle and putting the knife in just to try and get the dregs out? That's where I was with that. But that was basically my Monday. It wasn't much of a day for actual stuff happening. Just sitting in the tent, waiting for it to not be too hot, because whenever the sun's out, it gets hot. It's funny that, isn't it? The sun meaning it gets hot. But yeah, so again, another late night watching these Comicsgate guys, these Comicsgate Kings, as they call the group that all worked for Marvel and DC Comics. They do a show with between 7 and 9 of them all on screen at once, discussing comics and pop culture, just films and just stuff in general. But yeah, another good night of entertainment watching that bunch. And they kept promoting the guy who's got the new comic out, the new comic book. Another good show. So Tuesday morning, that's Monday night into Tuesday morning, 4 a.m. dog walk. 4 a.m. Why? Because I was awake and the dog wanted to go, mainly. So yeah, dog walk, came back inside, carried on being awake quite a while, eventually nodded off, and obviously that means I get up late again for the real dog walk, 9:30 before I get up. And this time I do decide to cook. I'm definitely going to cook. And so I get the veg out, and I'm sat on my bed with my big chopping board and my knife, and I've got all my veg, and I do all my prep, my mise en place, as the French would call it. Everything in place, and or at least I think I do. And I decided to make a cookery video with this one, although I still haven't released it yet, guys. I got some editing to do still. I've been a little bit lazy this week. The depression thing I said, I don't know whether it is depression or not, but that I've been a little bit down, a little bit lackluster, a little bit demotivated. Anyway, I cooked this food, or I put the first batch. I put everything in the pot and some oil and get it going, and I did a cream this time. The previous one had been a tomato base. This one was a cream base, and I'm going to do a garlicky one. So I've got some aioli, some garlic mayonnaise lying around. So I've got my veg on. I think I've got everything ready. I put it all in. I put the cream in and the garlic mayonnaise. And I suddenly realised that I haven't got my leek. Where's my leek? And that's still on the bed whole. I haven't chopped the bloody thing. And also I've got some spicy peppers that I haven't prepared. So I go back and I get those ready, and I leave everything to go on for an hour or two, and then I chop the leeks and the spicy peppers. But they're getting quite leathery. They're old. They're leathery, and I don't want that leathery skin. So I chop them in half lengthways, and I scrape all the insides out, and I'm just going to throw the skin away. But weirdly, by the time I've scraped everything off, the skin's kind of rehydrated itself and is now fine, most of it. Throw some of it away, but I keep some of it in there. It's like I've wasted my time scraping it out. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, I get it all in. It's just a good sunny day, a little bit of high cloud, but the high cloud kind of burns away after a while when the sun's on it. And yeah, I've got my usual thing to do. That when it's on high, I prefer to put the slow cooker on high, but it uses the power twice as fast as it's coming in from the solar panel. So after an hour, it's depleted. It's used everything that's come in from the solar panel, and it's depleted the battery. So then I have to turn it off for half an hour or an hour, let things recharge, and go again. And I could get everything hot and then put it on moderate, on medium, which uses the power at about the rate it comes in, more or less. But I actually prefer to get it hot and hope that the silver foil and the lid is just going to keep it hot long enough so it's cooking in its own juices even when I'm not pumping power in. So that's my technique. I'll spend the day balancing the power and managing the cooker. Oh, this. Okay, here we go again. Okay, we got another one of these. It's only a few days ago. Somebody asked me, have you had any more trouble from the gays recently? I don't you remember, there was a guy walked through here a few months ago. He walked through and he started dropping his pants and asking me if I wanted to bum him. And I had to give him a little bit of a love tap on the back of the head and invite him to go on his way. We had another one Tuesday afternoon. Tina just starts barking like wild, and after about 10 seconds this guy appears at the door that I don't use, the other side of the tent. There's actually a clear path from the road to my tent now, and I've never stepped foot on it. I never used it. It's the gays and the police. Mainly. Occasional visitor, but mainly weirdos. I've literally never used it. Maybe once, I don't know. But no, this guy, Tina's going wild, and I'm literally having to hold her back and stop her from going and eating him. And he appears, and he's talking to me in Spanish, and he's asking, do you like me? Tu me gustaría or something. Yeah, would you like me? Do you like me? And I'm like, I'm hearing it. I'm hearing the individual words. I can hear you, me, and you like. And I'm listening, and I'm thinking I must be misunderstanding. I'm going, pardon? Okay. Yeah, what? And otra vez, and I'm thinking I must be misunderstanding. You like me? And I'm like, what the fuck? And then he starts blowing kisses at me. And I'm like, sex, fuck off. I'm like, pero, comida, come here, she's gonna eat you. Fucking, what? Who just comes up to a tent, sticks their head in and says like, do you want to fuck? What? What is that? Now, I wonder, when these things happen, I wonder if it's a thief who's casing the joint, sticking his head in to look, and, oh, you're there. And, you know, and if I'd been out here or away there, he might have grabbed something and gone. But the fact that the dog was barking for a good 10 seconds before he stuck his head in, he knew I was there. He's not a thief casing the joint, or at least not for immediate. Maybe he's having a look to come back later. I don't know. It's just the weirdest shit ever. I have no understanding. Now, I'm not homophobic, despite what you might think, but just get to fuck. Just no. Yeah, not homophobic, but fuck off. Fuck about and find out. Thief, question mark, I wrote in my notes. You know, it's just one of those weird things that I don't comprehend. It just doesn't compute. I have no real understanding of what's going through their bloody mind. I put this all too close to me still, haven't I? Maybe. Maybe they think it's just the dog, and they'll walk in, stick their hand in, grab something and go. Maybe. I mean, he comes in sideways onto my TV. The TV's possibly just about within reach. Or my old lady shopping trolley. The Spanish and their old lady shopping trolleys. Everybody uses them. Men, women and children. Okay, that was Tuesday. That's the highlights of Tuesday, folks. So Wednesday, mixed weather. Cloudy, but kind of sometimes looks a bit like rain and what have you. But this, told you I made the stew, that I made a second stew the night before, the creamy garlicky one. And I had some that night. I had 2 or 3 good portions of it, good bowls full. And I left a little bit in the slow cooker with silver foil over the top and then the lid on. So it should create a good seal. Usually creates a good seal. But my silver foil was getting a little tatty. I've been using it for quite a while. Had a few tears and what have you in. So the next morning, I feel like finishing last night's stew as my breakfast. And I lift the lid off and I lift the tin foil off, and for a second my eyes can't work out what I'm looking at. The whole thing is wriggling. And in the cream, the white sauce of the stew, it's just vegetables, cream and a garlic mayonnaise kind of sauce. But in there's lots of these little black bits with legs sticking up in the air. And then I look around and it takes a second. Like I said, my eyes aren't the greatest, but it takes me a second to focus. And the entire inside of the pot is wriggling. Ants, fucking ants, just everywhere. So there goes my breakfast. So I gave it to Tina. She ate the food and the ants. That's my girl. The food, your breakfast's in the dog. Now this was a strange day where I literally, and this is probably a first. Let me just get a quick swig. Throat's getting a little bit dry, folks. I talk too much. Jack Attack's about to type cheers and some beer glasses. Cheers, Jack Attack. This is the first, guys. I spent the entire day watching one channel on YouTube. It's a channel that I'd only just stumbled across, and it's by Rowan J. Coleman. I'll put a link in the description and maybe in pinned comment. Rowan J. Coleman, Coleman. And what he does is it's like a review channel. It's review's the wrong word because you review something that's new, don't you? This is what's the word I used, or what's the word he uses? Retrospective. He's reviewing old TV series, sci-fi mainly. So he did like a 16-part, get this, 16-part, and they're all 1.5, 2 hours long. And it's 16 parts on Star Trek. There's like 30 odd hours, the history of Star Trek and which episode's good, what went on behind the scenes, who starred in it, what had they done before, what did they go on to do after. But I watched, I think the first one, I started with Red Dwarf. And it made me afterwards, it made me go off and download Red Dwarf. Or I've started to download it. Because there's about 13 series of it. And I must have stopped somewhere around series 6 or 7. Or for you Americans, season 6 or 7. Separated by a common language. So yeah, fantastic. And I literally, it's all I watched all day. It's basically all I did. I just sat there transfixed. I watched about Red Dwarf, I watched about Stargate, I watched about Star Trek, and on and on. Stargate, everything. Fantastic. If you like sci-fi, Rowan J. Coleman. Like I said, I'll put a link there. Now, that evening, I just got a suspicion it might rain. And this is, remember, my door is wide open. The zips come off, detached from the runner, from the track. Now, I needed to either put that back on and have it at least pinch the top corner. I got Velcro the bottom corner. So that would have it kind of sorted, but I can't make it work. I can't make it bite with the pliers. It just, I've bent the metal too much and it's starting to crack and break. So I inside the main door is a mosquito net, like a second door. So I fasten the bottom and up the side and leave the top open. I pull the outer door over and pull it through the gap at the top, and then I zip the mosquito net across. So just the top right hand corner has got the top right hand corner of the door pulled through. And then I tape it with some duct tape. And at the bottom I've got it Velcroed. And I was right. And it rained. And we didn't get a drop inside. That night we were perfect. That was just a minor shower, I think. Might have gone on a little bit, I'm not sure. It was in the night. But yeah, I jerry-rigged it. And it was important because in a few days, in a little while, this becomes significant. So the next morning, 7:45 dog walk. Get this. I think we're just going to the road here. I think we're just doing a short walk because of how bad her legs are. She decides we're going right around and onto the cliff tops. And it's 7:45, which currently is the sunrise time. I'm looking out. There's quite a bit of cloud above us, but on the horizon, there's a clear gap. And the sun's just cresting over. We just get there in time and watch it crest over the top. I reach in my pocket for my phone, figuring that we'll do a sunrise video. I haven't brought my fucking phone. It's in the because we were just going to the we were only going 20 meters that way. 30. Do I have a bike to get about? No. And everywhere I go, I have to take my doggy with me anyway, and she can't really walk at the minute anyway, so I couldn't get about even if I wanted to. My friend Joby, we'll come to him in a minute. Literally, I think. What day was that? Yeah, okay. Hold on. Give me 10 minutes and we'll be talking about Joby. That's the guy that used to live in the field here with me, the English bloke who came here early February, first week in February arrived. Froze his bits off one night in the field opposite, and then I met him the next morning. And made him a cup of coffee, and he set up his tent under one of the trees back there. I think Tim's got this problem where his computer or his phone, whatever message he sends, it comes through 3 times. You need to get that fixed, mate. Or I might have to time you out again. Where was I? Short dog walk turned into long dog walk. And no, Tina, no. Defending the camp from invaders that aren't invading. Tina girl, that's enough. Tina, suficiente. Basta. Her legs are so bad she couldn't chase after it if she wanted. And it was a big German Shepherd, it would have eaten her for breakfast. Even when she did have legs. Okay, long dog walk. Short dog walk turned into long dog walk. Sun's rising. I think it'll make a nice video. And the sun's cresting. I haven't got the camera on me, so that idea goes out my head. But the sun's cresting, but over to the left, over to the northeast, I can see it's literally hammering it down. It's raining over the sea. And as I'm looking at it, as I turn to look to the northeast, and I see this, so I've got glorious sun over here just coming over. I've got the rain streaking down over here. And as I turn to face it, I've got the wind directly in my face. So where the rain is, the wind's coming from exactly that location. Are we back? Sorry about that, folks. The vagaries of live streaming. Okay, we're back. As I said, I'm facing I've got the sun just coming over the horizon. I've got rain off to my left. I tend to face it and the wind's directly in my face. So that rain is coming this way in the next hour or two. I've got a broken door that I've just jerry-rigged closed the night before. So we come back to the tent, get in and make sure that the door's closed because there's rain coming. We just get on the bed. We've been there about 10-15 minutes and a car turns down this road, pips its horn 5 times at the top of the road, comes down the road slowly, pips its horn again right next to my tent. And me and Tina are thinking, aye, is this for us? Is this a visitor? Is this a friend coming to see us? Pipping the horn 5 times at the top of the road, come down slowly and pip your horn right outside my tent. Tina thinks this is a friend. She's up. She's raring to go. Come out and meet whoever these nice people are. We come out of the tent. It takes me a little while to get my shoes on. This guy drives to the bottom of the road. Looks like he's parking up, and I'm thinking, I don't recognise the car, but I never do. But then he turns around and comes back, and he looks right at me, and I nod as if, hello, you know, if you are coming to see me, I don't want to be a knob and not even acknowledge you. But then he just drives past slowly, and then he goes on up to the top of the road and parks at the top of the road. And I'm thinking, maybe he just didn't find somewhere suitable to park, but maybe he is for me. So I walk the dog up thinking, it's 50-50 now, I mean, is it for me, is it not? And I walk past and look at him and he just kind of is on his phone and just ignoring me. So I stand there and it's like a second dog walk. And then we just come back past him and he doesn't say anything, he doesn't stop us, nothing to do with us. He just happens to have pipped his horn 6 times while coming past. Strange. But before we get back, we're stood at the top of the road and it starts raining. I've just said about how I'd faced into the wind and it was raining in that direction. Well, it got here. It got here sooner than I thought. It starts raining on us. So we're a little bit wet by the time we get back into the tent. And yeah, jerry-rig the door some more and make sure it's as waterproof as it can be. But yeah, it rained for an hour or two, not too strong. I checked the weather forecast while it was raining, and the weather forecast said there's virtually no chance of rain while it was fucking raining. He said less, I think it said about 2% or 3% chance of rain. And no, instead we had 2 hours of rain. Such is life. Such is life. But after it stops raining, this is where Joby well, I didn't know it was Joby. We're inside the tent, we're all tucked up because rain, we're all closed in. And I hear wheels coming down the track, it's actually a dry riverbed, not a track, but I hear wheels and someone stops outside and Tina goes up and Tina's trying to go out of the door. And you have to understand, when I say Tina goes out the door, I don't mean she goes through the doorway. Tina wants to go through the fucking door. No, it just stopped raining. It had just stopped just before. And it must have been raining on him while he was travelling here, though, the amount of time it would take him. He's bought a bike at a market for 20 euros. A bike for 20 euros. That's got to be hot, hasn't it? That's got to be stolen. That bike must have been burning his ass all the way here. He tried to buy a bike. There's a guy at the bottom of the hill. When you go up and over and into the Macho, just at the bottom of the hill where the bus stop is, there's a guy who repairs bikes there and sells them. And he sells them for €50 and tells you he's not sure they work, even though he's selling them for €50. But Joby's managed to buy one somewhere down south at a market for €20. Anyway, so I hear wheels outside. Tina gets all excited and wants to get out the door. I'm battling to put my shoes on, hold her back, stop her knocking my fan over and all of this. I'm battling everything. And we get outside and there's a guy with long hair and this grey beard. And I don't recognise him. I'm really, really bad with faces. I have to meet somebody 3, 4, 5 times before I can be sure that they're them. Unless there's some other distinctive feature. Now, while he was stood getting off his bike, I noticed the bottom of his legs, he's got these tattoos. So then I put 2 and 2 together. But it was his legs I recognised, not his face. I lived in this field with the bloke for about 4 months. No, 3 months. He disappeared almost exactly on 3 months. Now the other guy, Pepe, the Spanish guy who's over the back, comes walking through the field later, takes one look at him and goes, "Oh, amigo, hey, ¿cómo estás?" Recognises him straight away. You didn't know the bugger. You'd only met him twice. I don't know, it's just me. I'm just really bad. I read Stephen Fry's autobiography, and Stephen Fry's the same. He can meet somebody, sit down and have like a 3-hour conversation with them, bump into them 2 hours later and not know who they are. When he doesn't know them, in fact, people he knows, they sometimes still have to tell him who they are. I'm not quite that bad. Once I've met somebody 3, maybe 4 times, I don't know, somewhere around there, it starts to get easier. But yeah, no. But so Joby turned up with his bike, and we had we sat down and had a good chat, 3 or 4 hours. He went the other side of Torrevieja originally, but then he fell out with some people and he went further south and further south. And he's been busking. He came out with this 2-piece guitar that this kind of travel guitar slots together. But yeah, he made his money busking, and now that seems to have ended. People have all gone. People have all gone home. All the holidaymakers have gone home, and his earnings dropped off a cliff. So yeah. So after Joby left, after 3 or 4 hours, I had to go at correcting the zip on the tent, but I failed. And this is where I told myself I'll do it. I'll get my safety pins out and I'll fix the door, like I'll fix it. No, I fix it. Pin it. But I left it a little while, till the next day actually. I told myself I was going to do it with the pins, but I didn't. And this is where I noticed Sven. Sven had actually sent me some money via PayPal that morning. And here I am, it was evening, it was night, and that was when I first noticed. Sorry mate, a little bit slow on the uptake. I didn't get a notification, I didn't see it. I wouldn't know about that, Tim. But his biography is in about 20 parts. I read one book out of the bunch, which was about him. It was the latter end of his university days. Was it Cambridge or Oxford, whichever one it was? The latter end of that, and his first stints into television. So he wouldn't have been able to find boys 20 years his junior at that point. Well, 3-year-old ones maybe, I don't know. Let me get my next one out. All this talking, folks. I don't even notice. While I'm talking, my voice goes a higher pitch. I start off with a fairly deep voice, and as my throat dries out, it becomes higher and higher. as long as his boyfriends are of age, I'm not bothered about an age gap. As long as they're legal, none of my business. Where am I? Oh, messing with the zip. Oh, looking for the safety pins, yeah. Okay, so that's Thursday night into Friday. Now the forecast is mixed for Friday. Doesn't look too bad. But I noticed while I'm there that Saturday they're saying thunderstorms all morning, 8 while 2 or 3 in the afternoon. 70, 80, 90% chance of rain. Not that much, but if you've ever watched any of my previous storm, excuse me, if you've ever watched any of my previous storm videos, I have a playlist. I have a playlist called The Rain in Spain Falls Mainly on Me. And yeah, I've been through some thunderstorms in the past. So yeah, but this wasn't, the forecast said it was varying. 1 minute it would say 7 millimeters, the next I think went as high as 13. But they usually start off around 2 or 3 millimeters and end up at 20. You know, you get a 10x increase, a tenfold increase. So if it's saying somewhere around 10, things could go crazy. But you know, that's what the forecast said. So I start preparing. If you watch those old videos, you'll see that I used to have what I called my storm protocol. Now this field used to flood whenever it rained. The first 2 times it rained while I was in this field flooded. Once ankle deep and once knee deep. Ruined everything I owned. Almost everything. I could wash the clothes out eventually. Took a long time. But all my electronics and everything, all of that was gone. Books and newspapers and puzzle books, that was all gone. So I used to have this, when I built a bed eventually, basically it was just a platform to get off the ground, higher than knee high, so that if and as it rained, you know, if it flooded, I would be above ground. Eventually I then put a shelter over the top of that. The bed came first, then the shelter came over it afterwards. And things built from there. So I had this rule, because I'd been through 2 floods. 3 really, because it flooded twice in the same night, that second time. I watched as the water all drained away and got back down from knee high down to ankle high, and I thought, oh, okay, soon be gone. The sun will come out, it'll dry out. It's Spain, it doesn't take long for the sun to do its thing. But no, it got down to ankle deep, and then a second wave came in and we were knee high again. In fact, higher, maybe a little bit above knee. And I decided then to wade out and go and find, well, I didn't know where I was headed when I set off, but I went to my friend Thankyous, and she gave me a blanket and a cup of coffee, and we sat and chatted for a while and waited for the rain to stop. And then I came back and saw what the damage was. Thank you, Thankyous. Yeah, those were the days. But because of that flood, I had this storm protocol, I had these rules. I had to be off the ground when it rained. I had to have a raincoat, I had to have wet weather gear, like either on or to hand. I had to be fully clothed and have my shoes on in bed, or on the bed. I had to have tarps and ropes and whatever I might need, tape and scissors and things to hand. I had to have them like an emergency kit to hand. And I had to have a go bag or 2, so that if things just got so bad, I could just go. Now, they did some earthworks at the top of this field to divert the water away, and ever since then it hasn't flooded. It hasn't looked like flooding, and everything in this field is dying because it hasn't got any water anymore. No slugs or snails. This place used to be full of slugs. I think I've mentioned in the past, I would reach for a glass, and if the glass had a little lip on it, when I put it in my mouth, there'd be a fucking slug under that lip. I would look at it. I had a clear plastic one, and I looked at this in the light, honest. I looked at this in the light, at night, in moonlight, clear plastic throwaway glass, and I looked to make sure there wasn't any slugs on, and I put it in my mouth and I drank, and there was a bloody slug right under the lip, right there. And I don't know if you know, but slugs have little mites that if they get in, they can go to your brain and leave your brain damaged and even kill you. Never eat a slug. Snails as long as they're cooked, but slugs just never. Um, but yeah, I've had slugs in my mouth numerous times. But I haven't seen a slug. I haven't seen a live snail in this field now in over a year. But yeah, tarps and rope or cordage of some description, yeah. Extra tent pegs, my mallet, whatever mallet or hammer I'm using. But because they did this earthworks and all the water's been diverted away, I've kind of become a little bit sloppy. I've become too lax. I don't follow my own. I don't follow the my own protocol, my own rules, my own. Yeah, they use beer as a slug trap. Yeah, although I think I was drinking wine at the time, wine and cola. Because, in fact, for months I was drinking nothing. But when I did, once a month at the start of the month or the end of the month, at that point I think I could get one box, 1 litre of red wine and one 2 litre bottle of cola. The lady at the end of the road used to come by about once a month, once every 6 weeks, and give me 10, sometimes 20 euros. Or random other people would sometimes just stop and either bring me food or money. It's usually drunken blokes. If you get a party of 5 blokes who are out on the razzle, and they'll come walking down here at 9 in the morning with an open can of beer in their hand, they'll throw me a tenner or 20. Yeah, no, it's yeah, I'm going off on one here, aren't I? I've gone off on one about my storm protocol. But this is what set me thinking, because I couldn't fasten my door. I can't find my fucking safety pin. I know I've got safety pins in here. I've got a tarp somewhere, 7 meters by 4 meters, that I'm going to put over the tent any day now. I just don't know where it is. I know it's inside the tent, but the damn thing's a TARDIS. I said earlier about losing a jacket potato in bed and it took an hour to find. Just don't fucking ask. Sounds ridiculous, but it's true. It was on my chopping board, cooked. I think I had 3 jacket potatoes and a roasted onion. And I went in and I'm about to get onto the bed, and as I go to sit down, a couple of them fall off, and I grab them back and I'm missing one. I've got one less than I started with. And I eat what I've got, and then I start looking, and it's got to be here. I'm feeling all around the bed. I'm lifting and in the end, I had to get up, put all my lights on, put my head torch on, get my phone and lights, as many lights as and start peeling back. I literally not just peeled them back. I had to strip the bed and then rebuild them. And there the damn thing was at the foot of the bed. How the hell did it get? How do you drop a potato in the middle of a bed and pick it up like 1.5 meters that way? The fuck is that? I got no idea. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. Where are we? We're Thursday night into Friday morning. So I'm checking the weather Friday morning and seeing that the storm's coming Saturday. So I want to get ready. And I decided to kind of reenact some of my storm protocol. So I start gathering things together. I've got my raincoat, I've got my shoes, I've got bits and pieces, and then I start looking for some of the other bits and pieces, and I can't find them. I know I've got this 7 meter by 3 meter tarp. See, it's only just over a year ago that my smaller tent, my tent that was 4 meters by 3 meters, split end to end in one go. These tears that happened here on these little flaps above the air vents at both sides of the tent, the one that went the other week, last week, the one at the far side, it went in 2 goes. There was a, but when this other tent split end to end, it went in 1 go. 4 meters long, 1 meter wide, and the flap, when you lift it up, wouldn't even go back. It didn't meet by 3 inches. When you lift all the fabric, so what's happened is it's split, and the entire tent has sank down the poles at both sides because they're an arch. You get a split, and the whole thing just settled down. But Okay, mate, I'm going to have to, that's a timeout. Just, time out. Just for half an hour. Just because, I don't know if you're doing it on purpose or if it's just your phone. But, it's like you're spamming the chat. No offence. I'm going to assume it's technical, that it's an issue with your phone or computer. For now. For now. Okay. So yeah, I try getting things together, but this is where I realise that I haven't got the things. My kit isn't ready. I'm not prepared, and I'm a prepper at heart. I actually watch YouTube channels about prepping. I'm a failed prepper, obviously. I ended up living in a fucking field with nothing. But I'm a prepper in theory or at heart. So I am over the next few days, this weekend maybe, I'm gonna empty out my bedroom and get all my ducks in a row. As I think it was Jack Attack. It just faded out as I put my eyes on it.
Yeah.
Get everything lined up. I've got 2 go bags. See, I couldn't find my rubber mallet for putting tent pegs in, and I've got some spare tent pegs as well somewhere that I will need for securing the tarp. I think they're in my go bags, but they're probably at the bottom of it. You remember I've got a spare tent from subscriber number 100. I never did find you, subscriber 100, if you're still out there. But thank you. My emergency tent. Bright fuck off orange in a lime green cover. But better than nothing if anything happens. So yeah. But I've got tarps in here somewhere that I can't find. I've got ropes and cordage I can't find. I've got tent pegs I can't find. I've got mallets I can't find. You know, and probably other stuff. So I just need to, it's become a bit over full in there. I used to have shelving units. You see, that was the other thing, wasn't it? I had shelving units outside. They'd become unstable, and I'd put them outside and was going to work on them to square them off, to stabilize them. And I didn't get on with it. They were outside a little while, and they got taken away by the police when they took everything else. Because shelving units, fire risk, obviously. Bastards. So yeah, that's something I've got to get on with. I've got to, it'll give me a chance to sort out the tent, clean it out, because I've got ants in there as well. It'll be a chance to empty things out, sweep things out, clean out, reorganize, find the things that I need, and build a proper emergency kit that's just there, ready. I've got a big rubber bin, a big proper dustbin that's empty, doing nothing. I can put things in that, a tent and a tarp and these other things. They can just be there in the bin, just ready. So that's something I got to get on with. The fact that this Friday I realised it was going to be a thunderstorm Saturday. I spent the day not exactly preparing, but starting to think about preparing. I cooked food as well on the Friday. I cooked food again because I knew Saturday might be a long day. If the storm got worse than the forecast said, it could be a long wet day and stuff could go bad. I wanted to have food ready. So I cooked another pot full of stew. What did I do this time? Do my notes say? Oh yeah, this time it was similar. It was vegetables, carrots, leeks. What was it? Carrots, leeks, potato, celery, and a cream sauce, but this time with mustard rather than the garlic mayo. This time it was a mustard cream sauce. Didn't do a video of that one. There's a video of the one from Tuesday waiting to come out, maybe, if the footage is good enough. I haven't finished editing yet. We'll see. But yeah, and like I said, this is where I'm looking for my safety pins and the other bits and ropes and I just things that I know that I've got, I can't find them. So I decided that as the weather's still nice Friday evening, I'll go and do a final shop with the final cash that the Now I got money in PayPal. I got money on this debit card thing, this prepaid debit card that Karen got me. I'm down to my last €7 or €8 there. Not sure exactly the amount because the account's not in my name. I can't check easily. But I got a little bit there. But I went out and I figured it's it's the weekend. There's some supplies you need, and B, thunderstorms tomorrow morning. You might not get out again this weekend. Who knows? So I went and bought a few bits: a loaf of bread, a mortadella. I don't know. I got a tin of dog food. Whatever. You know, wet dog food. I don't give a dry all the time. Even though I've got a 16-kilogram bag of it in there and about 5 bags of dog treats. Everybody brings me dog treats all the time. They pile up because I'm not that big at giving her the treats. She doesn't love me enough. She has to earn them. Kisses and cuddles with Daddy. Hey, babe. I was going to say see if I can show you her, but let's see whether I can. I'll risk the wind and the microphone. Here she is, chasing flies at the minute, laying down on this thing that I got. I'm not sure whether it's meant to be roofing felt or a thick carpet. I'm not sure what it is. It's either a thick underlay or it could actually be some kind of roofing felt. But there's my girl. Hey babe, talk to the peoples. Yeah. And for once you're not scratching. Just chasing the flies. Okay. Where are we? Back to me. The real star of the show. I am the main character in my story. Oh. Okay folks, we haven't got far to go. Let's get this finished off. We're on Friday and I'm thinking about Saturday. That's roughly where we are. I'm cooking, I'm thinking about reorganising, definitely time to reorganise. I've been saying it for months. I've been in this tent about 6 months now. It's just starting to fall to bits and it's not that bad yet, but it will start. We got a winter to get through. At least this one can't split end to end because it's got these ribs in the roof. So it can only split, you know, what, 2 meters lengthways or 1 meter along the length or 2 meters widthways across. There's a limit because of where seams are and ribs. No run can run too far. And like I said, I've got this 7 meter by 3 meter or 4 meter tarp somewhere. I've got other tarps. I've got one that's I think 3 by 2 that's brand new, and I've got my original tarp, my very original one from when I just used to wrap it around my bed. That one's 3 meters by 2 as well, but with pinprick holes. That's an old one that's little holes. It's got the odd one that you could put a finger through. It's got some proper holes and tears. So yeah, time to repair, time to get on with reorganising inside and making a kit ready for when shit goes bad and putting a tarp over the roof. But as I said earlier, a bright blue shiny tarp over the top is going to attract the authorities. So I went shopping, spent the last of my cash, almost. And, well, here was the thing, because I was cooking. See, here's a balancing act. I never want to go into a night with my EcoFlow on less than 50% charge. It stores 250 watt hours, quarter of a kilowatt hour when it's full. So it's not a lot. It's less than your car battery. Although only half of your car battery is usable. This is fully usable. But when I'm cooking, I can easily run it right down. It cuts off at 20%. Usually. If you watch the one from a couple of weeks ago where I woke up in the night and the damn thing was on 0. Still don't know what happened there. But usually it will cut off at 20%. And that would be enough to get me through a night. But to get me through a night and then a thunderstorm and maybe the next night after, 20% probably wouldn't be enough. 50% would be. I never want to be less than 50. But I'm cooking. I was cooking. So it could easily run low. So I move it across, like right now my panel's in the shade from the tent, but if I move it across to my sunbed, my sun recliner, yeah, I have a sun recliner, again. I used to have two, but the police stole them because they were a fire risk. I got one again. If I move the panel across there and the EcoFlow, and also hook up the slow cooker, and I left it there doing that while I went shopping. But yeah, I found when I came back I was on a little bit less than 50%, just less, which, you know, it's a risk but doable. So anyway, I got back that night. This was Friday night, and I did a little bit of video editing. I eventually started to look at this cookery video from the Tuesday. They recommend a full drain now and again. Yeah, they probably do. And like I said, it got one a couple of weeks ago by accident. Don't know how. I didn't use it, not that I know of. And it should have cut off at 20 anyway. But yeah, anyway, I start editing my cookery video from the Tuesday, and still haven't finished it, guys. I just, meh, you know what I said about my mood this week. Just a little bit, meh. It'll get there. It'll get there. I recorded a video. Oh, we're about to say, okay, I won't jump ahead. I'll keep it. So it's Friday night. What does Friday night mean? Friday night tights, of course. Wide awake. It starts 10:05. It's going to be on for 3 or 4 hours. I am wide awake. All week, I've been awake late at night. No problem. You know what happens next, don't you? Asleep by 11:30. I get an hour, maybe an hour and a quarter, an hour and a half into it, and I'm gone. And I'm annoyed as hell. What happens next? I wake up at 1:30, and now I'm awake all night. I've missed half my program, but now I'm going to be awake all night. That's useful. Fuck. Yeah. If you ever watch Friday Night Tights, they don't have dulcet tones. They scream and argue over each other. I'm told my voice puts people to sleep. I think that's the people that listen to the audio book that I'm making. I think that's what they use it for. I think they use it as an anaesthetic to put them to sleep. I didn't release any new chapters this week, but I will, folks. I'm going to get on with that again. I'm going to jump back on board with that. 3 Men in a Boat. It's hilarious. I love it. Okay, Friday night now into Saturday morning. I'm awake all night. The forecasts now, it's been updated. It says 12 millimetres of rain between 9 AM and 3 PM. It's going to be 6 hours of thunder and lightning and a lot of rain. Yeah. So I take Tina for a dog walk. Again, we go for a short dog walk just to the road. And again, she drags me off on the longer dog walk to the cliff tops. So Saturday morning we do a video from on the cliff tops. It's a nice morning. You look out, you can't believe thunder and lightning for 6 hours, starting in a couple of hours, starting in 2 or 3 hours. No chance, you think. Not a hope in hell. Tina girl. Tina, can we have a bit of quiet, darling? So yeah, I'm looking out thinking not a hope in hell. Doesn't look likely. We do a little video. Haven't released it yet. What can I tell you? But back to the tent. So 7:30 the dog walk. We get back to the tent just before 8. We get back inside, secure the door again, jerry rigging it shut with duct tape and Velcro and what have you. And it's mainly pinned, as I say, by the main support of it. The thing stopping it actually falling in is the inner door. The mosquito net is what's kind of supporting the weight of it. But Tina, can we have some quiet? Stop. That's my girl. But I jerry-rigged the door. It doesn't look like thunder and lightning to me. It doesn't look like there's going to be a storm. We're not inside for more than 5 minutes, maybe 10, when thunder and lightning starts. And my girl here, she hates the thunder and lightning. She tries to get into her corner in the tent, and she backs right into it, and she backs right into the fabric and pulls the fabric so tight, and then she sits on the fabric. So she's pulling the roof down. She's stretching the wall and the roof of the tent, and I can't let her carry on doing that. So I grab her lead and encourage her to come and lay on the bed with me, and I'll cuddle her while she's frightened of the weather. So 8 o'clock, so 7:30, not a sign of any bad weather. 8 o'clock, thunder and lightning. 9 o'clock, on the dot, starts raining, and it buckets it down, absolutely throwing it down, and it doesn't really stop until 12. We get 3 hours of almost solid and mainly quite heavy rain. Bearing in mind I've got this broken door that's kind of jerry-rigged, and I pulled the door, the top of the door's inside the tent, so as the water runs off the roof, it hits the fabric and carries on running down. It's not on the underside of the door, or it's not got a gap and falling into the tent. I've pulled the fabric in. And we keep about 95% or so of the water out. We get the occasional drip, and there's a little crack just where the zip doesn't quite reach the tape. A little bit of water coming in fairly regularly, dripping. But I've got a bowl. I put a bowl under, a little bit streaming at the bottom of the door. I put a rag on the floor, and we're all good. Not a problem. We survive it amazingly well, really, under the circumstances. I was quite surprised. If I've mentioned it, folks, I'm not the most practical guy in the world. I'm not someone who would, like, pick up a hammer and nails and start building things. I'm not someone who would start repairing things, or when it comes to practical things, I'm pretty useless. Theory, knowledge, I do. The only time I was ever allowed to use a screwdriver when I was married was inside a computer case. You wouldn't hand me, you wouldn't like be taking the light switch off and messing with wires and crap in you wouldn't have me anywhere near anything for real. But inside a computer case, I'm golden. I'm fine. But here, living in a field, trying to do practical shit. How the hell I managed to put 6 broom handles into the ground and string a tarpaulin over the top and build a shack, build a shelter. How the hell I was able to knock 4 stakes into the ground, tie branches to those stakes, and then bend those branches over to form arches, so that that shelter had a convex roof instead of a concave roof. How the hell I was able to do any of this and work any of this out is a fucking mystery to me. You wouldn't put a hammer in my hand normally. You wouldn't and yet I put those sticks in the ground without a hammer. And the ground was like this, the ground was rock hard. And the mop handles had, not hooks, but they had loops, plastic hooks, for hanging them up or whatever on top. So you couldn't just smack the top of the stick. So I had to put, in the loop, I had to put a thick stick in the loop, and then hammer that stick. How the hell I worked any of that out, I got no idea. But I did. And I keep jerry-rigging things. I keep fashioning things that kind of sort of work. I keep surviving. I keep on keeping on. Adapting and overcoming. I don't know how, but I manage it somehow. So anyway, 12 o'clock Saturday afternoon, and the rain stops, and suddenly the sun comes out. And within 15 minutes, I kid you not, within 15 minutes, I am sweating my fucking balls off in there. Because I've got all the doors closed and no air for all summer, the doors have just been open. Like either entirely open or the mosquito nets at most. But mainly just entirely open, sometimes all night long, just entirely open with a breeze blowing through, or trying to let a breeze through. But I've got the doors closed, the sun comes up, and within 15 minutes, I am sweating my bits off. Tina girl. Tina. Tina, stop. Stop. So I have to kind of, Tina, stop it, darling. So I have to get up quick and start opening doors, and suddenly we've gone from kind of storm conditions to summer conditions, and let's get the doors open because it's too hot in here. So we get that done, and I'm surprised because all the weather forecast all the day before has been for thunder and lightning until 3 o'clock, and then it to be cloudy and maybe an hour of sunshine somewhere around 7 o'clock when it's no good for anything. But suddenly we've got sunshine at noon, and my solar panel's out, and I relaxed thinking, oh, the EcoFlow is going to be getting topped up, the solar panel's out, it's all good. I realised 2 hours later I've unplugged the fucking solar panel while I was moving things around and getting prepared for the storm and everything, because the wire was coming in through the doorway. I'd had to unplug it and put it through. There's a separate thing for wires in the side of the tent, so I've put it through there, and then I figured, well, there's no point plugging it into the EcoFlow because it's going to be raining, it's going to be cloudy, and I've put it down. 2 hours I've sat there assuming that the EcoFlow is charging from the solar panel in this glorious sunshine, and for 2 hours it bloody wasn't. I apologise, folks. I got a bit excited and a bit sweary. But yeah, it was a bit annoying. It was one of those kind of moments. Cheers, Jack Attack. Yeah, we're nearly there now. So an hour or so later, well, I finally plugged the damn cable in, and quickly at the EcoFlow in full sunshine, bringing in 80 and 90 watts. It doesn't take long to top up a 250 watt hour storage that's already half full. I only need 120 odd, I only need 100 watt hours, don't I? An hour and a half, depending on how solid the sunshine is, would top it up from half up to full. Maybe a little bit more. You got to allow for losses on in the process, inefficiencies in the system. But about an hour after I've plugged this thing in and we're getting topped up, this is where my friend Adela arrives, and she comes along with this Russian salad, this kind of mayonnaise potato salady thing with extra veg, and brings that and bread, and it's quite a tub. I mean, there's a good 2 or 3 days worth of meals there. Unfortunately, I bought extra bread because I went shopping on the Friday night. But this Saturday afternoon was a real bonus because the weather forecast had been 6 hours of thunder and lightning, followed by cloud. So we actually got a nice day in the end. And there was minimal rain incursion into the tent. I put the bowl there and there was just a few little drips, something and nothing. So that was good. So we settled down for Saturday night, and Saturday night means, Jack Attack knows the answer here, it means Big Clive live and Scruff Dog. So I watched Big Clive, and we switch over for Scruff, and it's getting a little bit late, 11:30 or so I think Scruff Dog starts, and I surprised myself by staying awake to the end. But then, almost straight after, I think, I put one more video on and fell asleep during that, and that was me for the night, and I was a little bit disappointed, really. I usually enjoy my Saturday night. There's other programs after that I would watch, and I like to try and stay awake for them, and no, I was just zonked. Woke up this morning. We went for a 2 a.m. dog walk. That's right. After Scruff finished, somewhere around there, went for a 2 a.m. dog walk because I was awake and the dog wanted to, and then fell asleep straight away. Woke up at whatever time this morning, 7:30. Dog walk again. I did a video this time, and this time I actually edited it and released it straight away, like I'm supposed to. And that's about it, folks. The rest of the day is preparing these notes. Actually, not true. I sat down and relaxed until I'm supposed to start making these notes about 12 o'clock usually. These notes, I'll show you. They'll be reversed, they're flipped. This is the right hand side with the pen, as you look at that, but it'll be reversed for you. Which is why someone thought that the whole page was upside down the other week, which blew my mind. That something being reversed left right could make you think that it's upside down. But I actually waited today until I actually left it 12:30 to start, and I had them finished by 2 o'clock. And what that means is, for once, I spent less time preparing the notes than I've done talking about them. I've talked about them longer than it took to write them. That's a first, I think. They normally take me 3 or 4 hours to put together, so I don't know what happened there. So dog walk video, preparing the notes, and just as I'm kind of getting ready, about an hour before I'm due to come out and start chatting with you good folks, that's when my friend Anthony arrives here with the deep pan pizza and a pack of beer and a bag of shrapnel, well, they're not really shrapnel, they're high value coins from the looks of them. So that's good. Thank you, pal. Thank you very much. He's still here. So that's my week, folks. Those are the trials and tribulations. Nothing too exciting, nothing too good, nothing too bad. We survived a couple of rain showers and a 3-hour thunderstorm. 4 hours of thunder, 3 hours of rain. Other than that, we keep on keeping on. I've got to stop saying When I first started doing these, I was terrible for it. Now I catch myself, I hear myself. I usually stop myself, but when I hear it, I make a mental note. I slap myself internally and tell myself that that's bad. You've not got to say I just did it again, look, you see, slapping myself now. But that's just, folks, that is the week that was. That's me. Now, upcoming this week, I don't really know. I noticed on the weather there's one day this week that's going to have storms again. They're going to have rain again sometime later in the week. Those forecasts, once you get more than 2 or 3 days out, you can almost ignore them. I'll monitor, but I'm going to be putting this tarpaulin up probably sometime soon. It might be a difficult job, I'm not sure. Depends how high up it's going to sit and whether I can secure it in place like temporarily while I then maneuver it into its permanent place. And it depends whether it's a wind, whether we get a still day that's not too windy. Don't want to be messing with something like that on a day where it's gusting and blowing around. I also want to put it up and then fuck off for a few hours. Like when I put the tent up, I should have gone away for 5 or 6 hours, maybe overnight, because the police came within an hour and a half. And then they came again. I think it was the next day they came again. So yeah, I kind of don't want to be here after I've put it up. I need to get out of here for a while. Can you hear her walking on this fabric? That's why I don't think it's underfelt. I don't think it's underlay for carpets. I think it might be roofing felt. I'm not sure. I don't know, folks. I don't think I've got anything more on it. Other than the work that I need to do here, I'm definitely going to empty the bedroom out entirely. I'm going to find that tarp if I can. I'm going to lay it out on the floor, peg it out. Then I'm going to empty my bedroom and bring everything out. Sweep out the bedroom, sort things out, throw things away that need throwing away. As a friend said to me, I think yesterday, anything that I've not used in the last week, anything I've not used in the last 6 months or so, throw away. So if I've got bags, I've got bags and bags of clothes here that people have brought to me, and I tend to just cycle through the same 10 t-shirts and the same 3 or 4 pairs of shorts. The rest, I guess I need a summer outfit and a winter outfit, or outfits, but I've got a lot of other stuff that can probably go. I've probably got more towels than I need. Other things, I've got lots and lots. I must have about 10 of these plastic storage boxes now, and they're not all great. Some of them have got like holes around the handles and the ants just crawl in through the holes. You get plastic, but I got them to keep rats and mice out, in fairness. And as long as what's in there is tightly wrapped, It's all right. And it turns out, I had to research this the other day, food that ants have got into, as long as you can get rid of the ants, the food's still fine. And you can eat ants, as long as they're not of like the fiery ants, as long as they're not of that toxic kind of variety. Eating ants won't do you any harm. So that bag of cornflakes that I had the other day, that was riddled with ants, poured them out, gave the bowl a good tap with a spoon, and they all come running out. Then I pour a little bit of milk in, and they carry on running out, and you kill them around the end and throw them away as much as you can, and then you just get stuck in and eat it. I'm not throwing food away. I'm not throwing food away. Not if I can avoid it. This is why I had to research whether there's any consequences from either eating ants or eating food that ants got into. And you think you've got a wheat germ intolerance? Fuck off. I eat ants. Okay, folks, I think, unless anybody says otherwise, I think I'm done for this week. Oh, I tell you what, we've got a minute and a half to wait. What can we do? Cheers to the donators, the donors, the people who brought me things or sent me things, the people who visited this week. Cheers. To the subscribers. Cheers, folks. Let me just, I'm going to take my wind suppressor off so that I can get to the controls in a minute or so. So that's the donators and the subscribers. To you, the viewers, to anybody who watches this, whether you're watching it live or whether you're watching it later on the replay, I recommend waiting until halfway through Monday when YouTube have finished processing it and you can do the chat replay thing. There's not a lot of chat, but to those of you that are there and that are here, cheers, folks. Okay, let's see if we can end this in the traditional way. In the traditional way, if I can keep my fingers out of the way of the camera. Oh, let's do this. From Tina. Hey, Tina. From Tina. No, you've not turned around, you bugger. And from me, Delta Mike. Ouch.